Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing today? I have a guest on the show with me today by the name of Melinda Williams, and I've talked about her a little bit in some of the prior episodes, letting everybody know she was going to be on, and she's going to help me today with tarot card reading, I believe. And yeah, Melinda, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good, Jake. How are you guys?
Oh, can't complain. Um, so you're doing a show later this evening where you're going to also be helping people and doing card pulls based on donations as well, correct?
That is correct. That's going to be on my Facebook page, my profile page, and it's at 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time.
Okay, and we'll share everybody that page before we get off today as well. But so if anybody has any questions, you can feel free to leave them in the comments. But I feel like we can get started. I'm excited to get to do this. I got to do a little bit with you one time the other day, and it was really interesting, some of the information you got. And I actually did another card reading after that, and I got some of the similar information that you had given me. And I was like, oh, it's cool seeing those correlations come up just right after each other. And I think I got a winged serpent twice, and then the second time I got a lizard that involved dreaming. And I thought it was significant to me because like a winged serpent and then getting a lizard, the next card reading, like it kind of tied together for me. And I was
Right.
definitely interested in it.
Okay. So the card deck I'm using, I always like to share that. I'm using the Archangel Power Tarot cards today for you today, because this is the deck that told me that it was for you today. So
felt it was the right one.
Yep. See, I've got like nearly 300 decks. So
wow.
Yeah. So and I
how
said,
long have you been doing these readings for people?
Well, for the public, I started back in probably around 2015. Okay. I've done it all my life, but it was mostly for family or friends, and because I was afraid to come out. And so it was one of those kind of things. But I've done them all my life, basically. All right, Jake, let's see here. Okay. Okay, you got Page of Michael. And the first thing I'm seeing in this card, the owl. So that's going to be one of your totem animals. But I am seeing something about a new challenge that's coming forth for you. It's going to be an exciting challenge. And it's more to do with something that's going to be offered to you. I do see like paperwork or possibly contracts. So there's something that's going to be presented to you, and so it's just letting you know to make sure you pay attention to everything in the contracts or paperwork, whatever, but it is something very exciting. It's a very positive thing that's coming forth. Okay, you got Nine of Michael, and what I'm seeing in this card, there's something that you've been concerned with or worried about. And so what I'm seeing to tell you is that the worry is unnecessary. The owl is back in the picture. And I'm seeing something to focus more on what you want the desired outcome to be. And it's either you or someone close to you. They're having feelings of regret or maybe guilt. So that I feel it's more someone that's connected to you in your circle. So just let them know they are needing to release that.
So do I need to think about maybe goals with that card, like put short-term goals in front of me?
I would. I do that, and because I think that will help manifest what the positive, exciting thing's going to be. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, not every card that I pick up is for you. Okay, you got Three of Michael. And the Three of Michael card is all about releasing things from the past. I feel that there's things from your past that you hold on to a certain degree, but it also brings in fluctuations in your current situations. There is something about there's something about things that how do I say this? It's weird sometimes because I try to be very careful of how I explain something. Um, okay, so it deals with the past, and the main thing I'm seeing, it also, you have brought something from a past life into your current life. And so it's very, very interconnected. And hopefully we'll see what that is in the cards, but we'll see. Okay.
Well, because when we were first saying it, I was kind of getting a feeling of what we've talked about offline with some of my my past Ouija boards dabblings when I was younger. But when you say past life, it makes me wonder even more what it could be. I thought it was more immediate than that, but now I'm thinking it's a lot more vast than it might be.
Right, because now, okay, as I said, I was hoping it would come through in the next card. So Six of Michael. What I see in the Six of Michael is that I see actually two past lives in this card. One was you were back in the time of the pirates, and the other thing I'm seeing is, which is the very important one, is that you were back in the time of the Salem witch trials.
Oh,
you were actually someone that practiced witchcraft, so you're bringing that into your current life, and that's why you're so connected to the Ouija board, and that's the reason. And you do have, like I said, I when I seen you, or we were chatting when I was on the thing with Rob, the thing that I seen the most is that you have a lot of gifts yourself. Those gifts, you're very connected to Ouija, to seances. I don't know if you've ever done a seance, but it's something you should really look into, because this is the way that you do your connecting of things.
I've just noticed,
okay.
well, kind of confirming what you just said. When I do use Ouija boards, I've noticed for a long time, I don't necessarily have to put my hand on the pendulum for it to move. I can actually kind of just hover my hand over it, and it will move under my hand. And I always thought it was very interesting that other people had to be touching it in order for it to do that, but I could kind of get close to it, and there was almost a connection that would almost get it to move just a slight amount. And then when I got even closer to it, there's only a few people that I use the Ouija board with that have that type of connection. And I always thought that was intriguing about myself, because some people I play with it and they almost draw energy away from me. Like I feel like
Oh, wow.
they're taking away from the actual experience, because either they're not open-minded enough for it, or
Right.
whatever it happens to be in the moment.
Now, have you ever tried dowsing rods?
No, I actually was just introduced to them recently by one of the guests on my show. I don't know much about them.
They are really amazing. I prefer them over the pendulum, because
Okay.
you're actually putting a lot of your energy into them as you hold them, and I absolutely love them. So I feel that you have a lot of energy in your hands, and that is a good way to release and connect to the spirit world by using the rods. So that's something for you to think about.
And
Okay.
how would you go about practicing using those rods?
Well, let me just show you, for example, because you know me, I've got some. So I've got different ones, and let me show these to you. I got some that got crystals on them, and then there's that's a different pair with different color of them on there. But these are the standard ones, and they're pretty big. And so basically, when you get them, you got to sit with them and start working with them to get your energy into it. And then basically, once you've sitting there and you're working with them, and you're asked about, the first thing you need to do is to find out which way is yes, which way is no, and which way is maybe. That's the three ways that I do it. And so, or you can do one also for asked again. That means you would have to restate the question in a different way. But I would just take them and work with them and practice with them privately till you got the hang of them and the feel. But these, I swear by them.
I'm definitely going to have to look into. Do you know a good source of getting them? Does it make a difference where you get them, or does it just kind of something that, as long as you get the right equipment, eventually it works with you? once you use
Yes.
it a little bit?
Yes, it will
Okay.
work with you once you get your energy into them. Like these, I got on Amazon because they were, I don't know, when I was looking through, popped up. And so I'm like, there's a reason for that. And once I got them, I mean, it was like immediately I was in tuned with them.
Because the reason I asked that is because I've learned over time that not to get a store-bought Ouija board. The Ouija board that I use is handmade, and I learned it was a little bit safer to use something that was your own and had a part of you in it. And that's why I didn't know if the rods eventually, work with you or how it works.
Yeah, they will. They
Right.
will start working once you get your energy into them. Now, the Ouija board that I have, it was specially made.
Okay.
And so it's got the Ouija board on one side, then you can turn it over and you've got a chalkboard. So some spirits like to communicate by writing. So it's a very unique board.
That's okay. So I made my own, and mine has a dry erase board on the back
Oh,
because
wow.
well, I learned that if I put certain names on there, I could put certain names of people that I didn't want to come onto the board as
Uh-huh.
well. I could put kind of a list of people that I didn't want to talk to, and I didn't realize how powerful names are. I learned that later in time that even bringing the person's name up in the actual time is enough power to bring them into the room and ask them to be with you. And I didn't. It took me a while to realize that.
Right. And that's very much, but you're going to have to show me your board. I
Oh
love
yeah, no,
Ouija
I,
boards.
I had it out not too long ago, but I don't have it next to me right now. But yeah, having the dry erase board on the back is nice because
I
it
bet
gives me a
that's
little
pretty
more
neat.
freedom to work with.
Yes. Okay. So um, now you got Five of Gabrielle. And what I'm seeing here is that either currently or very soon, and when I say very soon, that's usually within the next month, a challenge is going to surface, but it's something that you can resolve. Um, but there's something about withdrawing from drama from people. So I feel like there's some drama that's been around you, and so you're needing to withdraw from those type of people. And I'm also seeing something about having patience with yourself as you're learning, as you're, branching out into different things to have some patience to learn these new things. Okay. So you got two of Gabrielle. And what I'm seeing in this card is first and foremost, there's going to be something about making a choice. So there's going to be something that's going to come about where you're going to have to make a choice between this or that. But it's going to all hinge around it. You're going to make the decision based on that you're having the same visions as one another. So it's almost like a partnership, or something that's going to be offered to you to come in to partner with. So
That
all
kind of
right.
fits with that first contract type card
Yes.
in the beginning
Mm-hmm.
too.
Yep. Okay, let's see here.
I got a
Okay.
question from
Okay.
the audience. It says, "Does Melinda know about is it Reiki? Reike?"
Okay. They're probably talking about Reiki. And
Oh,
yes,
okay.
I am a Reiki master teacher. I do Reiki. I do crystal Reiki. I am in, I do that, but it's not as prevalent as the other stuff I do. Because mostly, I do the card readings, I do spirit connections, and I do help law enforcement and families with missing and, murdered or, cold cases. So, that really takes up a lot of my time, along with helping some of the paranormal teams. So I just do a little bit of everything, but I am a Reiki master.
So is Reiki similar to channeling, or is it?
Reiki it's where it's more like a healing modality.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so you use, Reiki symbols to like send healing energy to someone that's, not feeling well, or, to that nature. So it's in the healing modalities. So, okay, so then you got perspective, which
Okay.
is a major arcana card. And so what this means is you're needing to pause and reflect over something that's currently going on in your life. You need to really step up and be a little bit different, take a different route on something that is going on currently in your life. I'm seeing something about there's an archangel that is very connected to you, and that's Archangel Jamel. And so it's weird that this is coming up because, as Jake, I make the essential oils, and I've got a line of archangel ones.
Yeah.
And so this is just letting you know you need to take a different perspective. And that is one of the archangels that you should be working with when you're trying to do the spiritual work.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, you got 7 of Raphael. And what I'm seeing with this card is there's something that you've been trying to make a decision on. And it's time for you to make that decision. You need to be very clear in what you're wanting and then take the action to get to that point. And I do see that there's something about you're needing to detox. So that means you need to clear your energy. And I would suggest clearing your energy on a daily basis. So I usually do it twice a day. So especially if I'm around a lot of people or, been doing a lot of readings, I always try to clear myself more often. Do you want me to stop and see if there's any questions or?
Yeah, there was a couple questions coming in. Okay. But somebody had mentioned they said that you had mentioned being able to notice the energy in my hands, and then that they were curious about that. If you could elaborate on that.
Well, the energy in the hands, it's really connected to your aura. And so when I look at Jake, I can see his aura. And then, if I see his hands, what I'm sensing without seeing them is that he's got a lot of energy in those. And that's because his aura everyone's got a unique aura. But with Jake, his is more of, how do I say it? It's really fluid. And when I say that, that means it's got a lot of different colors that come in and then stretch out. And so all of this energy is going into his hands. So he is needing to release that. And to do that, one of the ways, Jake, is by Reiki. If you are into healing, I like I said, I'm a Reiki master. I use it every so often in different situations. So.
Okay. That was the last question, but
okay.
So I wanted to ask you more about some of the regular oils and candles and mixtures that you had available and like what they helped with, because I didn't know which ones were applicable for what situations as well.
Okay, so there's my Enchanted Magical Blends, and that is the ones for, you can use it for protection. There's one for protection. There's one for your energy. There's one for the aura, so it's really based on what you're looking at. There's one for stress. So just different things. Then in Archangels, that blend is used so if you are working with a particular archangel. So, I've got 15 archangels that I make, and I work with all 15 of them. And so, but not every day. So say today I was working with Michael. So I would use my Michael one because that will help bring him forth to me in my meditations. Then I got the Native American blends, and the Native American blends is more of the shamanic way. If you're wanting to connect to spirits, if you're wanting to, dive into, the mystical realm. That's the line that I would suggest for someone wanting to do that. Now I'm sitting here and I can't think of all my blends because I make so many. So there's the archangels, the Native American. Oh, let me look at my phone. That'll help me better than anything. And then, I make the herbal, the burning one, the burning herbs that you can actually just burn in your home for, clearing space, that kind of thing, the herbs. And then I do the candles, and the candles I can make them however and for whatever purpose that you're wanting that for. Let's see. Let me look here. That's the Native American blends. That's the archangels. Okay. Oh, okay. That's what it is. And so with my enchanted magical blends, I also do a spray. And that's just meaning that the sprays are intended to spray like in your home, in your car, your space.
Okay.
So that's the ones that I make.
I had another question come up. It says, how do auras interact between people, comma, attraction, rejection wise?
Oh, now that's a good question. So the aura, everyone's aura is different. And so say you get around someone that is being negative, then that will blend with your aura and then you will take that back with you. There'll be some negativity that is attached to you and you could actually bring that home with you. If you get around someone that's happy, then that will also come to you. But a lot of times, what people don't understand when we are around others, when we get home, we need to really cleanse ourselves because when you bring home other people's stuff, then it can make you take on their characteristics. So, say they had a bad day, and so you will feel that. So, it's just very important that the auras you cleanse them once of course not if you it's okay to if you're around your family unless they're being negative but a lot of times when we're around a group of people or even when we just go to the grocery store and you pass someone you can bring home whatever their emotions are, so
Oh, yeah, that
that's
makes
why
a
I
lot of
say
sense. That makes a lot
yeah.
of sense. I know when just working with people in the past, say you're working next to somebody all day, if they're in a bad mood all day, it does really rub off on you. That energy that they're putting off into the world is easily absorbed, and it can become a domino effect for the people around you too.
Right, very much so that's the thing with the aura.
Another person jumped in. They said they love the responses that the guest is giving. She's very nice too.
Oh, well, thank you.
Terry just jumped in and said hi. Hi, Terry. Hopes everybody's having a good weekend. Um, and then another person wants to know is the reaction, if the reaction is instantaneous.
In some cases, usually, you got to like in the grocery store. But because I see spirits and hear them, like if a spirit comes to me in the grocery store, which has happened, and they want me to approach someone, and I do that if the spirit is very insistent. So say I approach someone and I start telling them stuff and they get this negative response, then that's going to take me to come home and clear myself of that negative response. But in general, if you're just walking past someone, you would have to be like, say you're at the grocery store and you're standing and you're looking, trying to figure out what you're going to get from the shelf, and
Mhm.
someone else comes up. If they're standing there for one, at least I'm going to say 1 minute, you would have to be instant like that. It has to be, you have to be in the same proximity for at least a minute or so. But just passing by, you might pick up fragments. And so then when you got home later on in the evening, you may start feeling sad, or that's from that. So it can happen in passing. It's just according to how strong the other person is about being negative or being happy or whatever the situation.
That makes sense. Yeah. The more they have invested, the more you can pick up on. Yeah.
Right, right.
So I did want to make sure that we showed your Facebook page. I'm going to do a little screen share here for everybody so they can see where it's at. And if you want to tell people about it when I pull it up, let's see here if I can get it. And then tell people a little bit about the show you're going to be doing later today as well. Let's see, can you see it? Is it popping up?
On my end, it's swirled. There it is. I see it now.
Okay. Let me see. I want to get. Sorry about that. I'm just going to share yours. That way everybody can see it on full. All right.
Yeah, I'll be on there tonight at 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. So.
Okay. And yeah, this is the post for that. And so we talked about some of the other sites and stuff that you had as well. Are these some of them listed over here?
Let me see. Yeah, the Enchanted Circle of Witches.
Okay.
There's a page that I have there, but I also have a website for that because I do own a coven, and I'm the high priestess in a coven, and I do use a lot of my magical witchcraft into a lot of things that I do, but it's always positive in the light. And I bring in my Native American heritage with that also. And the Spirits Unearthed Paranormal, that is my paranormal team. So
Okay.
we do a lot of investigations and that kind of thing. So that one says Enchanted Visions. Okay, well, that's actually my Enchanted Psychic Visions. For some reason, I've been working with Facebook. I've had to call them. Somehow my in the visions, the psychic part is removed. I don't know why. So I'm working with Facebook now to try to figure that out. But they said I wouldn't be.
At least it's on the icon, so people know.
Exactly. Yeah, and so we don't know what happened. So we're still working on that.
But yeah, it looks like there's multiple ways that people can get a hold of you and follow you and get more information as well.
Right.
So, and it seems like you help people in a lot of different aspects, whether it's sending some candles or oils to help, or the earth mixtures that you were talking about.
Right. Yeah. I just offer a number of things to try to help people, and it's one of the things that I enjoy the most is helping with missing cases, and there's been some pretty bad ones, and I'm currently working on one, and that's why I'm so busy, Jake, is because I'm currently working on a missing persons case with family and law enforcement, and so it's just been it's crazy at times.
We got a couple more comments coming in saying thank you, Melinda, and that everybody's loving your perspective. I had another question from a gentleman named Junior. He wants to know if you can talk about spiritual possession.
I sure can. So basically, that has happened to me. And so, and I get a lot of paranormal teams that'll reach out and say, I've got a team member, I think something's going on. So, I'll go live with them, so we can see each other. And so spiritual possessions, it does happen. It's very rare, but I have dealt with those. And basically, when that happens, what I see when it's happening is the entity is what I call blending, and they start blending with the backside of the person. And so if you can catch that before the actual blending, actual possession happens, then I can usually stop that from happening. Now with a full possession,
is that beginning stage? Is it from an openness of wanting something else in you, or a vulnerability to letting something else come into your
Sometimes what I have noticed is sometimes it's where people has dabbled and they didn't have a clue of what they're doing. And I'm very blunt and when I say that, because it really irritates me when people, for an example, I went to this one house, and this lady was saying she was experiencing some things. It came out to be, and once I'm there, I'm like, well, who's doing witchcraft? And they're doing it in a very negative way. So when you do something that is negative and you don't know what you're doing, that's the way the blending starts. Okay. Sometimes it can be, a family in a home, and there's something that was there before they moved there, and it's very connected to that home. And if it's on the darker side, then, especially with children, they really like to bother children. So that's when all of this stuff starts. And so I have seen it, and I have had to have priests to help me, also medicine men, women, to come in and help me to deal with those kind of things. But it's very, very serious, and I have seen it happen. So that's why I say, if you don't understand something, don't dabble in it. Get the knowledge first.
I've also had a lot of guests on that have practiced astral projection and
Mhm.
different forms of that as well. Do you think you leave your body open when you're astral projecting for other people to access that vessel, or are you still attached to it enough where you don't have to worry about something like that?
In astral projection, because I can do that. I've done that several times, especially when I'm working on these cases. But yes, when you do that, unless you do certain procedures, and I call them procedures, but you can leave your body open for anything that could be negative that is in your home you're unaware of, or that passes through. Um, so, there are steps you can take if you know you're going to be doing astral projection. There are steps that you can do prior that will stop that from happening.
Okay, good to know, because I've had a lot of people ask questions about that, and um, I think even on last night's show we were talking about Edgar Casey, and we were wondering if he got to a point in his life where he had abused the astral projection and using it for a service for people, and letting so many people do it when you're doing hundreds of these a week. If it's a toll on your body, and
Yes.
letting others involved.
Yes, that's a very dangerous thing, and I only do it when it's the last step that I can do to try to get more information or etc. Because it's not something that I would suggest for people to do on a regular basis. But that's my opinion.
Yeah. No, and that's what I'm actually looking for. You've been you've been more involved with this than most people I've had on, and that's why I wanted to have you on, because you have a perspective of this that I haven't gotten yet, and that's really what I was interested in hearing, is some of your experiences and what you've encountered in your many practices of doing this and meeting different cases. And yeah, I feel like you'd have a better grasp of some of the things that I haven't encountered, of course.
Well,
Um, I wanted to
go
let
ahead.
everybody know in the chat, me and you kind of talked offline. If anybody has one card that they'd like pulled, feel free to let me know. And I think Melinda will be open for pulling a card for somebody. You just have to let us know you're interested.
Yes. Yes, most definitely. I'll pull one card for 2 to 3 people if anyone's interested, and so they just need to let me know.
Okay. Yeah. So, we have another comment.
Okay.
Says, I'd love to be on here with her as well. It would be very cool. Oh yeah, a lot of people are interested in talking to you and hearing your perspective about different things. So,
Well, let me tell you, Jake, my family tells me that my mouth don't know when to hush, because I'm very open and I see it the way I see it. And if you don't like it, well, that's not my problem. And it's just, that's the way it is.
yeah. I've noticed you have that Southern hospitality to you as well, and willing to help people, and willing to it just seems like you're willing to offer your experience in those senses as well, because most people could just turn and walk away, especially when they realize someone's been dabbling with things they shouldn't be dabbling with.
Yeah, I know. And, that's why a lot of the paranormal teams, they reach out to me, because no matter what the case is, I will dive in there and I will go right at it. But, I do a lot of protection before I do go to do these things. And because protection is very important. Without it, you have a very high likelihood of something occurring. And so, and that I'm very adamant about, don't be doing these things unless you've done the protections beforehand. And so, it's just, I'm very, very vocal. And I was raised in Tennessee. Yes. I live in Arizona right now. But
I was raised in Milan, Tennessee.
were you really? It
Yeah.
was Cumberland County.
Okay. Yeah,
Crossville.
I was born in Kentucky and raised in Milan for a little while.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So that's where my accent comes from.
Okay. That makes a little more sense. Another person in the chat, Junior, he had a question. Is breaking mirrors really a bad thing?
Well, a mirror is a portal. It is a portal. And when I say that, I do scouring. And so, but any mirror is a portal. And so it's basically what happens in my viewpoint of this is if you break a mirror, you're breaking a portal. Once that portal is broken, then it can send out whatever was contained in that mirror into your open space. So that's where that comes about broken mirrors, bad luck, because usually darker things usually are inside of the mirror. If there's something that's around that is dark, that is their place that they can hide. So that's why that is said, because a lot of times mirrors are used as a two-way portal to come in and out of our realm for the darker things.
Okay. And Junior also asked if he could have a card as well.
Oh, of course.
He's our friend from a couple of our friends from South America are messaging in, and he wanted to see if he could get a card as well.
All right, so Junior, let me concentrate here for just a second for him. All right, here we go, Junior. Okay, Junior, you got 2 of Michael. And so what I'm seeing, Junior, for you is that you're overanalyzing a situation or something that's happening in your life currently. You're overanalyzing it. I do see in this situation, you're needing to make a compromise. It may be a little bit hard for you to make the compromise, but you are needing to do that. So in all aspects of it, I'm seeing that you're needing just to make the decision, make the compromise, and stop overanalyzing, because it's going to continue and continue on if you do. I do also see that you are connected. One of your totem animals is the horse. And so you need to pay attention when you do see the horse, whether it's in, right in front of your eyes or in a magazine or however, but that is one of your totem animals you need to be working with.
All right. Well, there you go, Junior. Hopefully it got a little delay to the live stream, but hopefully he got to hear all that. Another person asked for a card, but she was also saying she was just about to ask. Oh, sorry. She was just about to ask if you did any kind of protection before anything, and then you had went into it right when she had asked the question. So she was glad to know that you did do protections as well. And then she was also asking if she could get a card.
Of course, and with the protection thing, I do it like before I came on here, because cards is a way of opening. So I do a protection, and then when we get done, I will do a clearing, and I clear you, Jake, and I clear everyone on here.
Good to know.
So I do all of that because it's very important. Okay, so all right.
And Junior said he just heard it and he's still absorbing it.
Oh wow. Okay.
Good to know.
Yes, it is. Thank you for letting us know. Okay, and then I'm pulling one for, okay. All right, so. Okay. Okay, so you, it was Mud Rabbit, right? Okay. You've got decision, and there's an archangel coming through on the card immediately. So this is an archangel. If you do archangels, I see it that way because I've had people blast me because I'm like, well, an archangel come forth. I'm just telling you what I see. So, but the archangel is Archangel Jophiel. And what I'm seeing in this card for you, that you're needing to release some toxicity that is around you. I do see that there's for sure one person, possibly 2, that is constantly like trying to hold you back, trying to give you reasons for you not to do this or do that. So you're needing to really step away from those people and detox yourself. And there's something about lack of self-confidence, and that's centered around some of the negativity that you've been around. So once you clear that, then do a protection and a clearing from your aura, then those feelings of self-confidence will they'll trail away. And so that is the main things that I'm seeing from this card.
It looks like Junior just messaged. He said, "That's right. I have to make decisions, and the knight is from the chess of life." So I'm assuming he's referencing the horse that.
Right. Yep.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
Well, if anybody else has one, Mud Rabbit said thank you. She appreciates it.
You're very, very welcome.
Yeah, we might have time for one more if anybody wants one. But like again, I really appreciate you coming on, Melinda. It was awesome getting to have you on here. I like getting your perspective on things and getting to pick your brain for a little bit.
Yeah, and something you may think about, Jake, is maybe doing something with like several of us on here and see everybody's viewpoint.
Okay.
That's just an idea that I think, but sometimes I may get over mouthy, I guess, because like I said, I'm very vocal and I'm just like, I'm the type that will just tell you exactly the way I see it. And if someone's dabbling into something and I'm like, you really need to stop this because you don't know what you're doing. And sometimes people take that as a negative thing. But what I've learned is if you are not straight to them, then they don't get it. They really won't pay attention to what you're saying.
Oh yeah, or they won't grasp it fast enough if you're beating around the bush and not being more direct with your message.
Exactly.
All right. Well, like again, I'd like to thank you one more time for being on. We've done almost an hour now, so I feel like that was a good enough time for us. And everybody in the chat, thank you for tuning in. And hopefully we'll get to talk again soon, Melinda. Thank you.
All right, that sounds great. And thanks everyone for coming on.
Thank you. And everybody tune in to Melinda's show on her Facebook tonight. She's going to be doing a card pull for everybody as well. And they're donation based, and she'd be happy to help everybody out that gets to tune in.
Yes, I sure would.
A couple thank yous coming in the chat as well.
You're very welcome to everyone watching. It was really an honor to be here.
All right. Well, thank you again, Melinda, and you have a great day.
You too, Jake.
All right, guys, we're going to be wrapping it up here, and everybody have a good rest of your day. We might be doing another show later today. I'm not sure yet, but I will keep everyone posted. And thank you, and have a good one.